So I'll just. It says it's live, but I don't know if it is. Sometimes there's a little bit of a buffer. All right, let's get going here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Prop Live. It's this weekly web show thing I do. I really need a tagline for this show, but anyway, it's Thursday and it's 5 p.m. on the West Coast. And we're doing Prop Live, and I have a very special guest today. His name is Harrison Cricks, and if you follow me, you probably follow the crap he does. Harrison from Volpin Props. Hey, Harrison, how you doing?
Hi, Bill. Doing great. How are you?
I haven't hit that, like, pre-Dragon Con desperation yet. Not yet, at least.
Well, I have a point that I get to at the end of July where I look at, which is, today, tomorrow, I look at the list of stuff I have to do before Dragon Con, and there's this simultaneous, it happens every single year, this simultaneous feeling where I'm like, I am screwed and I am in perfect shape. Like, I'm going to get everything done, and I have no time at all. And I'm fine, I'm screwed, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm fucked. I'll be okay, everything's fine, I'm so dead. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And
yeah,
here's my website.
That seems pretty healthy. For those of you who don't follow Harrison, and you should be, he runs this company called Volpin Props out of Atlanta, Georgia, and this is his website, volpinprops.com, where you can see all of this wonderful, really cool stuff that he's made, props and costumes. And this is what's really cool. When I started getting into the scene, into prop and costume making, volpinprops.com, or I believe it was volpinprops.blogspot.com, is where I went to really start learning how to make a lot of this stuff secondhand from Harrison.
Yeah, the old Blogspot days. That site is still there, and I have not updated it in probably 8 months. So it took me a while to kind of bridge the gap into my main website that I have now, because I had a squatter on volpinprops.com. It was volpinprops.net for a while. A good friend of mine got me the URL. So yeah, if you go to the Blogspot thing, it's fairly out of date at this point.
Squatters are the worst, too.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting. The guy that owns Bill Duran, the Twitter handle, I want that. But he swears he's going to use it for something, even though he hasn't posted anything on there in 1,900 days.
You keep track.
Yep. He swears he's going to use it any day now.
Yeah. I had a similar thing. The guy that owns Volpin.com, it's like this little HTML website thing. He's got like pictures of his house, and I've tried to get it from him a bunch. He's just not interested in selling it ever.
BillDuran.com. Actually, this came up today. Someone saw a package from Bill Duran Company, and this is what it is. It's a flower company. Wholesale florist.
Bill Duran Company, wholesale florist.
So, and
that's
it's active. It's active, so I don't think I'll ever get that one, but that's fine.
Hey, how many followers do they have on Facebook? Do they have more than you or less?
Well, let's find out.
Well, so you're going to go there, it's going to be 3 million.
No! What? 121?
Okay, it's, pretty good for a wholesale florist, yeah. I guess. It's not really my world.
No, I would have no idea. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So we talked about Dragon Con coming up. That's okay. We'll be all right. Everything's gonna be fine.
Fine.
It should be a lot of fun. I have something right here that I want to show everyone because it's wicked cool. This is. Reach over here, carefully pull this thing over here. This is one of the guns from my Kickstarter, the Dracogen STV-1 space gun, and this was a very special one that someone threw a lot of money at to back the Kickstarter to get this that Harrison finished and painted up, and I think it looks super rad. Look at that. Ta-da.
I'm happy I finally got to paint shark teeth on something. It's So yeah, like I've wanted to do the bandit guns from Borderlands for a while.
Oh yeah, me too.
Had anybody interested in that commission? So I took your job as an excuse to do that. So
that's fine. Oh, looking at it, it looks like you had fun painting that. It looks like you tried some new stuff, and it looks neat.
And rating my parts bin for all the little mods and stuff on it.
Super, super cool. And I'm going to get that finished up here and send that out to Andre, who is waiting very patiently for it. And
Do me
he's
a
really
favor.
excited to get it. Yep.
I forgot to take finished photos of that, so if you could take some finished shots of it for me, I would appreciate that.
I certainly will. I have a couple of projects finishing up. Me and shopmate Will. Tomorrow we're going to be shooting all kinds of photos, so I'll make sure I get a bunch of this guy.
Cool.
Yeah. The other thing I have that I've been working on that's just about done, I'm going to finish it after the live stream, and I'm going to have to move my camera for this because this thing is really big. So I'm going to fly my camera over here. This is the M98 Widow. There we go. From Mass Effect, this gigantic sniper rifle. My super rad camera skills. Why don't I just do this? There we go. So this thing is huge. It's really, really big. I'm pretty sure in the lore, a human should not be able to lift it. It's that big. But anyway, this thing is awesome. I'm really excited to finish it up, and it'll be done later today. And I'll again tomorrow take super fancy photos of it. And that one is going to be at Dragon Con, so we can all fondle it.
Are you bringing your Mass Effect armor to Dragon Con?
I am not. My bin for all my armor is totally full. I'm bringing my Skyrim armor, and we're upgrading it a little bit and modifying it a little bit, and some other things. Just lots of casual costumes. We're not doing anything new this year.
Casual costumes are good. They're comfortable. You can just stretch out on the floor if you want.
Blend right in.
Yeah, blend right in.
Oh,
Actually, no. As far as camouflage is concerned, ours was the worst ever because everyone saw us.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Harrison went to Dragon Con last year dressed as the carpet. When I showed up, I found my friend Alyssa, and she said, "Have you seen Harrison?" I was like, "No, no, no." And she just looked at me and said, "He's the carpet." And she just pointed down at the floor, and I was like, "What do you mean? He's the carpet?" She's like, "Just go down there, you'll see him."
That was an idea I had been sitting on for 2 years.
Wow.
Hoping that nobody would think of it too, but I really wanted to do it for a while, and Kathy and I finally managed to put it together last year. So
well,
it's been fun, and I'm expecting to see a lot of carpet camouflage.
Oh yeah, we have some plans on our side too. The whole Duran clan is going to be carpeted up.
Excellent. Yes, I'm doing a little bit more with mine this year. So
of course. Cool. Well, we could sit here and talk shop all day, but we have all of these wonderful people watching, and they've been sending us questions.
I heard you had at least 2 questions.
I had a couple. Yeah.
A couple is good.
Yeah. Yes, lots of really great interest today. We have tons and tons of questions, and we will start chewing through them. I can't promise we will get to all of them, but we'll see what we can do. Okay. The first thing, Nathaniel wants to know, where can we watch the archived Q&As once this is done? Hopefully he's watching live and he'll find out. But all of these get posted on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/punishedprops, and they get posted there immediately afterwards, and then they live forever. So any really dumb things that you say, Harrison, they'll be on the internet forever. But you're used to that.
I've never done something stupid on the internet before.
All right, here we go. This one comes from Chris. Any advice for a beginner prop maker that you would, let me see, that you would have given yourself early on in your career? So if you had advice to give to yourself, I would say early on in your career, what would you give it?
Okay, early on in my career. Probably do a lot of research on chemical interactions and test out new techniques and materials first. 2 things that came to mind immediately when I went to the beginning of my career. I made a Midna helmet for my wife for DragonCon 08, and I made it out of pink polystyrene foam. And everybody's working with pink polystyrene foam.
Yep.
And I was like, I want this to look all kind of rocky and craggy, so I took it outside, and I went to paint it, and I got a can of like textured spray paint, and I just went to town on the thing, and it just disintegrated into a
Oh
little
no.
puddle of ooze. So that was after I'd done all the sculpting and carving and cutting, and I had to do a lot of repair work because anywhere that the paint went, it got obliterated. And then immediately, sort of after that, when I made the portal gun, I was trying to get a really nice smooth finish, a high shine, and so I would do primer coats, and I'd wet sand all of it down. And I was using this Krylon Gray high build primer. And every time I'd wet sand, it looked really nice and glossy. I'd let it dry for a day or two, and then I'd put the white gloss top coat on, and these big cracks would form every single time. And it wasn't the sort of enamel lacquer interaction. The primer coat that I was using was not wet sandable, so it would actually trap moisture inside of it. No matter how long I set it out to dry, it would still have a little bit of water in there. So I would try to sand it and smooth it out, and then those cracks would form, and I'd have to sand it back down and do it over and over and over again. So a lot of times, especially anybody who's in the cosplay world, we know that we are up against a deadline. The con's in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week, tomorrow, yesterday, and you're painting something in the stairwell. So we don't always have time to run tests, but it's a good idea if you have a new can of something or bottle of something or a new type of foam or whatever. Test out the paint, test out the primer, proper dry times, lots of experimentation, and don't test for paint the first time on your beautifully sculpted, crafted piece.
There you
that
go.
Would be, if I could go back in time 7 years, I would tell myself that. Experiment.
Yep. Usually whenever people ask me about a certain technique or a certain finishing, something that they want to try, I always say, just whatever it is, just try it on scraps first.
And that might be hard for people who are just sort of starting out and they don't have a lot of scrap. They don't have a lot of stuff sitting around. You bought one sheet of styrene, and that's your only sheet of styrene, and you don't want to experiment and test on it. And I can understand that, but you don't want to ruin the thing you've spent all this time sculpting either.
Yeah.
So definitely test.
There you go.
For instance, I ignored that today, just a little while ago, on something very expensive, and I didn't test out something I should have really tested out, and I got lucky, but I don't always get lucky.
Nope, and that's usually when you invent new swear words.
Yeah, I got a lot of those.
All right, good luck, Nathaniel, on that one. Let's grab another one. This one's from Andrew. What convention nightmares have you had, and what are some that you would like to avoid?
I don't actually go to a lot of cons, so most of my nightmares have been self-inflicted. Inebriation, sort of the adult beverage variety. One time, and this was Dragon Con 2 years ago, and that's the con I go to all the time, so it's the one I'm most familiar with. I was getting in an elevator. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning coming back from a concert, and I was in my Daft Punk costume, and I had 2 friends of mine with me, and my wife was with me, and we got on the elevator, and these guys had stolen a placard sign from somewhere else in the hotel that was like, private function, this room closed, and they'd stuck it in the front door of the elevator. So when the doors opened up, there was this big stupid sign in the way, and this one, drunk, there's probably younger people watching, so drunk fucker. Sorry, I'm not. There's no way to filter that. The guy was just a colossal piece of crap. Kind of pushes away, and he's like, "I'm sorry, this is closed. You can't come in here." And it's 4 o'clock in the morning. My wife was tired, and she knocked his sign out of the way, and just, she's like, "Shut up," and just walks in the elevator. And so they're not gonna start picking on her. So the guys start kind of harassing me in my Daft Punk costume, and this one guy. There's 3 of them in there. This one guy walks up to me and he's like, "Hey, Daft Punk, big man, huh? Why don't you take that helmet off?" And he's got these rings on, and he just starts knocking on the sides of the helmet. So
no.
There's all these dents in the chrome of my Daft Punk helmet now where the guy just knocked the crap out of it. And so I actually grabbed his arm and I was like, "Just cut it out, man. Don't touch me. Just back off," And so his buddy started getting in my face, and we ended up like pressing the next floor and getting off as soon as we can because it was getting nasty, and our friend followed us off even though her floor was 3 more flights up. So that was kind of the worst experience I've had at a convention. Typically people are fairly nice. Those guys were real pieces of crap. We called security on them, and we were told it was taken care of. So if there was something I could avoid, it would be colossal douchebags who have had way too much alcohol and don't know how to act like adults. But you know, by and large, everything's been great. When I've been guesting at cons, everybody's been really polite, really nice. One girl was really enthusiastic to meet me at one point in time at Dragon Con, and I was kind of terrified she's gonna crush my armor because she gave me like a big bear hug, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad to see you," and just like kind of alarmingly strong for like a 90-pound girl, just like crushing me in my Wonderflex armor, and I'm like, it's great to see you too, but I need to breathe. But yeah.
That's why I say armor hugs when people come in to hug, or if I'm giving a hug, armor hugs, where I just just one arm around and then like tap, and I'm like, all right,
you're done, yeah.
Clear. All right, there you go, Andrew. Hopefully you don't have any terrible convention nightmares. I haven't had very many. Things have been, like you said, for the most part, pretty good.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I will say that in the carpet costumes last year, it was the weirdest experience for me because I have never. And I don't want to get super into the cosplay is not consent kind of thing, but as men, you and I experience costuming very differently from how women do. But when I was in the carpet costumes, it was the first time that people treated me as an object, not as a person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And there's several instances. At one point in time, we're posing. It's Thursday night, right? I mean, con hasn't even started up yet. And Bill and I, my friend Bill Winans was the other guy in the carpet camo. We've been like going down and up and down and up and down and up. It's basically doing burpees over and over and over again. And it's like 1 in the morning, and we're exhausted. And we're standing around talking to our friends, and there's these people on the floor above us. And this one girl kind of shouts out, she's like, "Get on the car if you want to take a photo." And we're like, we said, "Oh, sorry, we're kind of tired right now," and she just shouts back down, "Get on the fucking floor!" Oh, I was like, wow, just no.
Demanding.
Yeah, and another time, Bill and I are the same thing, and posing on the floor, and then everything just goes dark, and we're like, what? And I had a flashlight on the end of my gun, and I just kind of tick that thing on, and some woman in a giant hoop skirt had just plunked her giant hoop skirt right over our heads.
Oh my goodness!
It's just darkness, and we are in some woman's skirt, and that was really strange. And then the last time we were posing, it was actually over by the front desk, and when you're on the ground and you've got this helmet on, right? All you can see is the floor, right? There's nothing. You have no clue what's going on. And after a few minutes, you're like, I guess, yeah, we're done. Okay, we get back up. And this guy kind of jogs over to us, he's like, bro, Matt, you gotta see this. And he holds up his phone. And on his phone, there's this video, and the whole time we're on the floor, these two girls were sort of hovered over us, humping our butts.
What?
Yeah, and he shows it to us like, dude, check this shit out, bro. That's fucking hot. And we're going, what? Who does that? Who would just start humping a stranger who's just laying on the ground? It was very strange. That was a totally new experience for me,
Wow.
And I realized again, I'm not trying to equate anything and saying that it's in any way similar, but it's the first time in costume that people have treated it. It had been sort of dehumanizing. It's like you are an object, a prop, a thing. I should not twerk on you.
Not twerking on people seems like a pretty good policy to live by.
That's a life tip. Don't twerk on people who don't want it.
Write that one down. All right, there you go. Good luck. Hopefully other people don't get twerked on when they're cosplaying as the carpet.
Right. That's I think applicable elsewhere in life.
Tons of life tips today. This is wonderful.
I know, really. This is helpful.
All right, Kyle wants to know all about your freeform air experiment. He's wondering how it holds up when sculpted or sanded. I guess compared to epoxy sculpt, which I've used lots.
Freeform air sculpts a lot like I would say like a 20-pound urethane insulation board, or maybe 25-pound. It's fairly light, it's fairly thin. You press your fingernail into it. You take off big chunks at once. It would be good for carving. It's not very good for sculpting. Freeform Sculpt, which is the denser stuff, that holds up very similar to epoxy sculpt. I wish I had something here that I could show you guys, but everything that I've done with it is elsewhere in the shop. Or rather, way up front or currently engulfed in silicon. I would say that Freeform Sculpt and epoxy sculpt sand very, very similar to one another. So the finishing detail, going from 120 to 220 to wet sanding and polishing, very, very, very similar. I prefer epoxy sculpt when I have to be a little bit neater with my sculpts. If I'm in my workshop and I can, throw water all over my part and throw soap all over my part, then I prefer the Freeform Sculpt because it works a little bit better when you're a little bit messier with it. So they're, equally capable, but totally different to work with.
There you go.
Once they're cured, sanding's very similar.
What I found with a lot of times with those kinds of materials is they're all pretty good, and either they're good for one purpose or another, or they're good for how you like to work or not.
Right. So I do a podcast with some friends of mine. That's jumpkickpunch.com for anybody who's interested.
There you go.
So I do a podcast with some friends of mine on every other Monday, and when I go over there, I tend to sculpt stuff with me. I bring stuff with me to sculpt, and I use the epoxy sculpt there because it works really well without a lot of moisture, and you can just kind of tool with the standard clay tools. But like I said, if I'm at my shop and I can be messier and get the floor